It's officially day 3 of Vlogmas, and I'm in my kitchen. Here's my new microwave and stove, and here's the old one. We have to move it out of the house because we have rental property, and we will be moving that stove over there because that one is old from like probably the 80s and needs to be replaced. But right now I am preheating the oven to bake some delicious homemade cookies for my husband, and then I am going to get online and schedule some posts for a takeover that Kennedy Fox is doing tonight, and obviously I'm doing the same takeover. So I am going to make some coffee and then sit at my computer and get that taken care of, and then hopefully by that point the cookies will be done and we will dig into those. So anyway, hope you're all having a good day so far. It's actually nighttime. It is totally not early in the day. It's probably about 6. I don't have my Fitbit on, so I can't really tell you. Maybe 5:30. So yeah, drinking coffee at night. That's how I roll. Here's my coffee, and it's so delicious. Whipped cream on my nose. Cheers, guys. Here we go. We're gonna place these homemade cookies in the oven, and I'll show you what they look like whenever they're finished. I've already taken some of them off the pan, but this is how they turned out. They're super huge, and I guess I should have made them just a tad smaller. Hey everyone, welcome to day 3 of Vlogmas. I didn't really have too much going on today other than going grocery shopping and cooking dinner and taking care of some small tasks around the house. So I thought today I would talk to you about my literary life because a lot of people ask me questions about it, how I got started in writing, is my college degree in writing, etc., etc. So today I thought that I would spend the majority of my Vlogmas time discussing my literary life. So let's go back to the year 2011. I decided that I wanted to write a book randomly on a whim. This was right around the time when Amanda Hawking was basically in all the newspapers. She was killing it, and she was an indie author. Most of you know that, or maybe you don't know, but being an indie author or an indie writer really didn't come into account, I think, until 2009 or 2010. So I was reading about all these success stories about these people who were writing stories and publishing them on Amazon themselves and were doing really well. And so I had thought about it randomly, and I was like, I could probably write a book. And at that point in my life, I was really reading a lot. I was into the Harry Potter series, which I had been since 2003, 2002, and I was just devouring young adult books as quickly as I could download them. And one day, my husband and I were camping, and we were hiking down this trail, and I just remember looking out at this area where you could tell that there was an old driveway, and I knew that there was a house where I had been standing, and there was this chestnut tree in the backyard, and there was this historical marker that talked about this tree and how the tree got there, and the family still came to have their family reunions around that specific area because it was a part of their heritage and all this different stuff. And on the way back, I looked at my husband and I was like, I'm going to write a young adult book. I decided at that point that I was going to be an author. I did not go to school for writing. My degree is in finance, and I have another degree in economics. And to me, it didn't matter. I remember going back to our camper at that point. This was in 2011, and I was like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm starting today. And basically every day from that point I wrote, and that was in March or April of 2011. And it was thrilling and exhilarating, and I felt like finally there was a way for me to get my creative juices out other than doing musical theater, which I was heavily involved in as well. And so I wrote and wrote and wrote for about 6 or 7 months, and I kept getting to the 20,000 word mark and just didn't really care for the story that I had created. And so I wanted a little boost, a little push, and I was looking up writing contests online, and that's whenever I found out about NaNoWriMo. So what I did was I decided that I was going to participate in NaNoWriMo, which I did in 2011, and I completed 50,000 words in 30 days. And that was super exciting to me and thrilling, and I was so happy. Like, I felt like when I finished that book that I had sprinted a marathon, because as soon as I put in the NaNoWriMo website that I had completed it, it like gave me this little winner video and congratulations, and I finally had my 50,000 words. Like, I was going to be the next J.K. Rowling. Like, no doubt, I had the best story ever. And so I submitted it to a publisher who was doing a contest at that moment for NaNoWriMo projects. I ended up winning that contest, which meant I won a publishing contract for my novel. Needless to say, I did not become the next J.K. Rowling, and that book was never published because I decided, after going through all the work and edits and everything, that it wasn't something that I was proud of or that I really enjoyed. And so instead of publishing, I was hired as a contractor to help that publisher with their marketing for their authors. And I did that for about 1.5 years. I had a friend who was encouraging me to write romance that I had worked with at this publishing company that was shady and decided to let me go because I wrote a romance novel underneath a pen name, which it had not been published yet. And so anyway, my friend was very, very supportive of me writing romance, and she was like, you can do this, you should write this book, you know, it doesn't have to be PG-13, you don't have to keep yourself in a box like I was doing with my young adult novel. And so that summer I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write romance. And so I created a pen name and I wrote my first romance novel under Lyra Parrish, which I will put the links in the description box below. And it was great. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. It was a trilogy, and I decided to go ahead and finish that, and I published my first novel on January 13th of 2014, and basically every day since then I have been writing, and it seriously was one of the best decisions of my life to continue pursuing being an author. And today, when I look back to the past Courtney that was struggling with this young adult novel, I realized that that was me getting used to growing pains. Like, I had to write this terrible novel, which didn't have chapters. Did I even tell y'all that? Like, I did not write in chapters. It was 50,000 words straight through. So you can only imagine what the editing process was like with that book. The publisher that wanted it was like, yeah, you need chapters. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that would make sense. So I had a lot of work to do to get that book even remotely close to where it needed to be. I published my first book under Lyra Parrish in 2014. In 2015, I continued to publish under that name, and in 2016, I was basically burnout, and I needed something to help me make my ultimate goal of leaving my corporate job so I could pursue writing full-time. In my mind, I thought that a multi-level marketing company would be the answer to that, and we all know how that goes. It totally wasn't. It was a waste of my time, a waste of my money, and the only good thing that came out of that was I met my literary partner, Brooke Cumberland, and we created a secret pen name, which is no longer secret, but it was secret for about 6 or 7 months, which is Kennedy Fox. And the way that we met was through this multi-level marketing company, and we were both just fed up. We were both writers. We both were passionate about writing, and we knew that selling clothes wasn't our thing. And it took a lot of time. And with that, it was either write or sell clothes, and selling clothes wasn't our passion. We both had wanted to do this, and we had basically stopped writing to sell leggings. It didn't work out. And so she had sent me a part of a book that she had started working on a few years ago, and I added to it. And ever since then, we have been writing together. It was in June of 2016. We published our first novel as Kennedy Fox in October of 2016. We published our second book in December. That same month, we made USA Today. And basically, we have published almost every other month or every 2 to 3 months since we began Kennedy Fox. It was one of the best decisions of my career, of my life. I love having a writing partner. I love having someone who is as motivated, who is as passionate, and who understands me in the way that I think. And it's great because writer's block doesn't really happen. When you have someone who is as invested as you are, then you have someone who will be able to help you work through any issues that you're having writing. Another reason why I like having a writing partner is because while I can BS myself and procrastinate, whenever you have someone else depending on you, it's not something that you can do. And so anyway, that's basically my publishing story. I think as of now, I have 16 books published. We've made USA Today 4 times. I haven't quit my corporate job yet. I actually just got promoted, strangely enough. But I wouldn't say that that dream is completely out of the picture. I just want to make sure that I have my finances straightened and everything is in line and ready to go before I make the jump, because I know that whenever I do decide to quit my job, that I never, ever, 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 ever want to go back. So that's me in a nutshell, guys. I decided to write on a whim, and I gave it my all, and I knew that I could do it, and I never quit. And I think that's another thing that's very important. If there's something that you want to do in your life and you're passionate about it and you love it, and it's something that you could see yourself doing every single day for the rest of your life, go for it. Like, you have nothing to lose. Seriously, you have nothing to lose. If it's writing, trust me, you will have growing pains. There will be times when you're like, this kind of sucks, but the good for me has outweighed all of those moments of self-doubt and self-worth and every other negative feeling that I have had towards my craft and self. So anyway, this concludes day 3 of Vlogmas. I hope you all learned a little bit more about my writing. I have a whole series of videos that I'm going to make to discuss the writing process and things of that nature, because I've had a lot of questions on co-writing and just self-publishing in general. So I will make those videos as well, probably sometime this month. But anyway, I hope you all had a great day, and tomorrow's Monday, which means tomorrow I will be back at work. And yeah, so I will see you all then. Alrighty, bye.